Hey everybody, it's Anthony and Tucker with Land Title. We came to bring you your lender update for the month. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do. So we're going to be talking this month. We're going to be separating the differences between detached and attached because those two markets are acting quite differently here in Boulder, Colorado, and for the entire county. So what we're going to first kind of take a look at is our rising inventory. You can see that we are doing better than we were last year. We're up year over year in our inventory. Our under contracts are obviously down a little bit for our detached, but the solds are handling pretty strong of almost flat. So that's a good sign. And then lastly, our sales price is just almost 1% higher than it was last year. So that's a good sign.
It's a good sign of stability, right? Now, if we flip over to the attached market, this one got a little interesting. And the entire year, this is going to be interesting. So we've been talking about this for a while, the change between the two markets. But right now, you're seeing the same trend, but you're seeing it so much more extreme in the attached market. You're seeing a rise in inventory, 43% more than this time last year. The under contract number is 27% down from this time last year. And the average sales price is misleading. So it shows 2% up, but I would argue it's probably closer to 5% down. And that's kind of based off of other data and just an amortization of the year. But in all reality, we have a very different approach between two markets. And so we kind of need to dive into those a little bit. Let's just talk a little bit about inventory first.
Yeah, so inventory is going to be the key this year. We're going to be in a rising inventory environment all year. You can see how we're already starting off this year much higher than last year. And we're going to continue to see that month over month of more and more detached and attached homes come on the market. But what's interesting here is where is that inventory building? Boulder, the city of Boulder really hasn't changed that much relative to the rest of the county. We're really starting to see the places like Erie, Longmont, even Superior really starting to build up their inventory year over year. So that's where we're going to continue to see even those submarkets that have been a little bit hotter like a Louisville or Lafayette, they're going to keep building up an inventory as well on the detached side.
Now, if you look at the attached side, this is where it's almost opposite end of the coin. And the city of Boulder is where you've seen a huge increase in attached dwellings. Now, as we go into this year, you're starting to see an increase in the Longmont attached dwellings as well, because they're facing some of the same problems. Something like a Lafayette, I don't think I'd be worried nearly as much about because you have newer stuff, more townhouse stuff. It's the condos that are really struggling because of older product, because of insurance, because of HOAs, those kind of things.
Same with Superior as well. You know, they have really nice product out there in Superior.
They do.
And then when we're looking here at our month supply of inventory, we're sitting at about 2.3 months of inventory across the entire county. But then let's look at our submarkets down in the lower left. We can certainly see places like Superior a little bit slower, right? They have a lot of new stuff coming on. A lot of those rebuilds being put back on. They take a little bit longer to sell. And then we can even see places like Longmont building up as well. And then in addition to that, Louisville, surprisingly, is growing in a month supply of inventory. That's normally been our fastest market in Boulder County for quite a while, for several years now. And they're even starting to build up into that over 2 month supply of inventory. So what that really means for your buyers out there is there's going to be better and better deals as the year goes on. But one thing to think about is, will appreciation in the detached market outpace their growth in income this year? And that's a really good question to ask folks. Now, attached,
this is the hard one,
different,
right? So we have rising inventory across all the markets. It's at least a month more inventory than we had in the detached market. You're going to see it be an extreme amount more inventory by the middle of the year. Now, Boulder's sitting at 3 months. That's not so bad today. By the middle of last year, we were at way more than that, 6+ months, right? So you're going to go from a balanced market to a buyer's market by the middle of the year. It's something we really need to look for, right? If you really want to live in the city of Boulder and attached housing is your ticket in, this is a great year to go buy something because there will be deals to be had out there. Now, 3 months of inventory in Longmont and 3 months of inventory in Boulder, even though they're the same, they are not going to operate at the same pace. They're not going to rise at the same speed. So definitely watch these as we kind of go through. Erie's having a larger attached amount of inventory as well because of the townhouses that were built out there. But, you know, places like Superior have really struggled in the last year, and you're going to see it continue to struggle.
Well, and that's also because they have so much of that brand new product at a brand new price.
True.
That it's an affordability issue. And that's why Longmont will be a little bit quicker in the attached than Boulder, and it's really just a function of price.
Absolutely. All right, tell us about days.
Okay, days in MLS. So we're sitting at 64 for detached. And when we look really across the entire county, Niwot, that's always take that with a grain of salt. They only have a sale or two. So that's really, hard stat to follow. But really, when we look at the rest of the county, we can see Longmont is still the fastest city within the county. And the reason why is because of affordability. the product there is more affordable for what you get for detached single family houses. Whereas when we look at Boulder and Louisville and Lafayette, even those are growing. Superior's right in the middle, same with Erie, right in the middle. But that is all high. So these are all in the 60s, even up to 70. What does that mean? Your buyers have more time to make decisions. There's going to be better deals to be had, but the nice product will move faster. Maybe not that first weekend, maybe not the second weekend, but the nicer buttoned up properties that are going to be highly desired will be moving faster than what these numbers show. So don't let people have a false sense of security that, hey, I have 2 months to make a decision. Because the nice products you won't. The less favorable products, you can have some extended negotiations.
Also keep in mind that this is the slowest month of the year. So as we look at the attached market, you see it a little bit, but detached specifically, it trends down all the way to June, then it'll start to trend back up. You're going to feel it here too, but you have 72 days in MLS as your attached number, but look at Boulder, 80. Niwot doesn't count because I don't have any, but Longmont was up to 93, and that's a big change. So watch the attached market. It is a problem. Detached market is going to follow very normal trends, but in a rising inventory environment. So it will take longer than it did a year ago.
Of course. And now let's look at it by price range. What's really surprising here is luxury sales are still doing really well. We're flat in 3+ million. We're up double, which is 2 sales instead of 1 versus last year. So the stats can be a little misleading because of the sample size. But the luxury market's still holding strong on the buyer demand. Where we're going to be running into issues this year is the supply. We're going to be oversupplied quickly in the detached luxury market. So that's really like 2+ million. We're going to have a lot of supply this year. So if you have folks shopping in that super high end, it doesn't hurt to wait a couple more months to buy because there's going to be a lot more inventory coming on the market, and the competition is going to be fierce. Because as you can see, just right now, we have 84 properties in the county over 3 million.
Yeah, and it's going to get a lot worse. So if you get into this and you're representing those median buyers, or those, the median is going to be in a very different situation. It's going to be more competitive all year, but it truly is going to be in a position where, they will have to pick a little bit. They can be a little choosy. They can definitely get some concessions, right? And they can get through that. The attached market, on the other hand, we're just going to see a really low buyer pool for a long time because detached in a lot of ways right now is as affordable as attached because of HOAs and insurance and all the other hurdles that we're kind of coming up against. Yeah. Plus, there's a lot of stuff where it's getting special assessed or has gotten special assessed, and that's just putting a little bit more fear into that.
And let's put a little caveat here between brand new attached and then the existing inventory, because the existing inventory in Boulder County is 30 to 40 years old. Everything was
the stuff that's having issues.
And that's the stuff that's having issues. Brand new attached, that's a totally different ballgame, right?
Right.
That's just a function of cost of what people can afford. Whereas the issues that we're talking about in attached are really for that existing older inventory, because a lot of it's in the 30, 40-year lifespan, and they didn't collect enough, didn't do enough on the repairs and maintenance.
Yeah.
So now the bills come and due, and HOAs are having to raise rates and special assessments.
You can see it here in the data. There is desire for attached product, right? You can see from 800 all the way up to 1.5 million. We've had an increase in sales. Now, the reason you see an increase in sales in some of these is you just genuinely have a good new product that is more affordable than the detached partner next door. And so when it comes to affordability, attached is always a way to solve that if you want location, right? So, all right. So let's talk about kind of pace of the market, speed of the market, what to expect from the buyer or for the buyers, right?
So for the buyers, really the lower end price point we get this year, right? As we creep towards that 400,000 to 500,000, 500,000 to 600,000 in those ranges, those are going to be your more competitive markets. And then remember, it's going to be by area too. We don't really have single family detached between 500,000 and 600,000 in the city of Boulder. We don't.
Right.
But where does our inventory start in the city of Boulder? Around that 600,000 to 800,000 is where it kind of starts, and then really starts building up an inventory when we get to that 900 plus. So our meat and potatoes in the different markets are going to be a little different. So what that really means is know your little market, know your sub-market that your clients are shopping in, but that will really show that, the more affordable the product, the more competition they're going to have, and probably the more aggressive you'll need to help your buyers be in making an offer and, what can appraise and what can't. So that's where you'll find that help for your clients. Then we get to the higher end of the market. That's going to keep growing. Our month supply of inventory is going to keep growing in that 2.5 plus 3 million plus. I wouldn't be surprised if we got back up to around 14, 16 months supply of inventory, if not even higher, by June, because of how much product we have already on the market and how much more is going to be coming through.
All right, so let's look at the flip side of the coin in attached. We've got a pretty strong amount of inventory sitting around 3 months right now, and it's going to continue to rise. But keep in mind, just like in detached, less people can afford higher priced homes. So as more inventory comes on the market and you have less buyers in the buyer pool, inventory will stack up faster at the higher price ranges. So as you can see across on the days on market, it's all pretty similar, right? We're talking 70 days. Detached kind of looked like 60 days across the market. Obviously, some of those really hot ticket price points, entry level stuff might move a little bit quicker, but you just have a lot of inventory. So outside of the luxury market where you have a huge excess in inventory, the rest of the market feels pretty similar, and it's going to feel really balanced right now. That will transition to a buyer's market shortly, right?
Yep.
And the days on market are going to get faster even though inventory is rising, because the good homes that are priced correctly, that come on the market, that are really nice, will sell quickly, and other people will continue to sit like we've seen for the last couple of years.
Yep. Now, our sold analysis, this is really important to look at. Of course, when we look at the month over month, we're down, right? That's normal. January is our slowest month generally in solds. But let's look at our submarket. In our submarkets, we can really tell where the deal's happening. And we can see once again, Longmont had the highest number of sales. They're up year over year. And a lot of that reason is because of affordability. We look at Louisville, has a lot of sales. Lafayette, down a little bit, but they're still pretty consistent as well. Superior also had some really nice sales. But when we look at it, Boulder, we were down in sales. Why? Affordability. So that's where the rates are your best friend. And remember how elastic those rates are to people going under contract. So more good news with rates. Share that with your buyers because that gets them motivated. And there's a direct correlation that is very short in length between that correlation.
Absolutely.
So please remind your folks because that will help the whole market.
Absolutely. Well, the attached side of the market, this is where you can really see some of the shifts that are taking place. With more inventory and downward pricing trends in the city of Boulder on attached product means year over year, we could see more sales, right? Because we have more out there. People are getting desperate. There might be moving prices, and it just becomes a better buy. So as markets tend to shift, places like Boulder, who has a lot of attached inventory anyway, has been selling a little bit more. Even the Longmont market, there was an increase in sales for the attached market. These are good signs. Now, we just have more inventory coming on than we have buyers for, but it's great to see that these markets are picking up a little. Take those large percentage change numbers in the middle of the market out because, there just aren't very many homes in Erie that are attached. There aren't very many in Louisville. There's nearly none in Niwot, right? So as you kind of look at that, we kind of need to look at some bigger long-term trends.
Yep.
All right, let's talk pricing.
Sales price. So this is what's going to get really interesting between the detached and attached. So detached so far, year over year, we're up 0.08 in January's. But really, I like to look at that trailing 12-month change. And that's where we can really see Louisville, Lafayette, Superior, Erie, not so much Erie, but those three, Louisville, Lafayette, and Superior, have had nice gains and the largest gains of the county. Whereas places like Erie had about a flattening. Boulder was slightly down over the last 2 years, right? And from 23 into 24, we were down a little bit in 23. We've kind of come back up in 24. And then Longmont is up slightly, right? Because they have a very wide range of pricing. Mm-hmm. Different things move at different speeds and at different amounts. But that's where we really can see how much that's changed in the overall kind of shift in the market. Is Longmont's still appreciating just a little bit slower than they had been historically. But look at that in the city of Boulder, right? We're at $1.4 million for a single family. And then what's even more amazing is looking at Louisville with all those new builds, they're super high as well.
I think that's the thing you got to remember is when you see high price point changes in Superior and Louisville, we had a lot of stuff getting rebuilt from the Marshall fires. They're getting built more expensive homes than what was already there.
Oh,
so
very
it's
nice.
Very clear that that's taking place in the market.
Those new builds are beautiful out in Louisville and Superior.
They are beautiful.
Yeah.
They're let's talk a little bit about attached because the attached market, this is the one that struggled a little bit, but it's very different market to market. Now, somewhere like Longmont and Erie or even Lafayette, they've seen some actual appreciation or just basically a flat market over the last year because yes, there's competition, but they're still affordable. They're newer products in many ways. And those products are doing okay,
Yeah.
right?
And it's also just a smaller sample size. There's just less of that inventory available.
Right. But it's all selling about the same price. Now, the markets that are suffering the most, Superior is the top of the list, where when you're building new product, similar to the price of resale product, people buy new product instead. And it's just become one of those things that put a lot of downward pressure on it. And this all got delayed out a few years because of the fires. So that's an effect from the fires, right? You're seeing it in the Boulder market in a very different way, where you just have a saturation of inventory that's causing the push in downward pricing in the attached market.
Yep.
So those are those two. Now, if you want to kind of share something out with your clients, this is a really easy one to read. And it's a good way to talk about kind of where we're at for the year and what's happening. We're basically where we were last year as Boulder County as far as our detached single-family home sales. You can see submarkets change a little bit, but outside of Erie, not a ton, right?
It's about the same.
It's about the same. Now, the attached market, this is where we had a great start to the year. I think that's good.
Yeah.
This is probably optimistic.
We see attached going well for sales volume, but that doesn't mean sales price, right?
Correct.
Sales volume does not equal sales price for the attached market. Normally, they're pretty correlated. Right now, they're acting differently because of the drop in sales price is pushing up sales, because then they're even more and more attractive to be competitive. They have to keep lowering.
Right. And that's how
prices.
the market truly balances out over time, right? Is because as prices come down, they're more attractive and they're more affordable, and then more people want them again.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about listed sale price. This is pretty much the same for attached and detached. Keep in mind, over the last few years, the market really settled. It's only necessity buyers, as you all know. And because of that, they control the narrative and they're kind of controlling pricing. Our listed sale price at 97.7%, even though it's really similar to where it was a year ago, there's concessions, there's price drops. They're not factored into that data. So that's why that number stays flat, right?
Yeah.
And you can see over the last 2.5 years, it's been the same almost the entire time within a percentage point or two. The attached market, if you look at it, is exactly the same as well.
Yep, but it's also those concessions don't show up in the MLS data. So that's a key piece to remember.
It is.
Those $10,000 2-1 buy downs, new roofs, new furnace. We've been seeing more of that come up, and we're going to continue to see that throughout the year, because sellers have to, the pendulum swing the other way now, from sellers getting everything to now it's the other side.
Yeah. And the other last thing about this is the chart at the bottom here does have by price point. So just keep in mind that the higher the price of the house, the less competition there is from the buyers, or so more competition in sellers, and they get more and more of what they want.
Yeah.
So you're going to see all of that inventory, $3+ million, they're going to negotiate very hard and get reductions in that purchase price. So hopefully that's helpful for you today. Thanks for listening to Tucker and I. Of course, we'll see you next month. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
Take care, everybody. Have a great month ahead.
Bye.